The Canny murder case is one of the most well-known criminal cases in Malaysia. On 13 June 2003, Canny, a 29-year-old IT analyst, was abducted from the parking area of Bangsar Shopping Center after returning to her car alone. She was later sexually assaulted and murdered, and her body was found several days later near Jalan Klang Lama. Police identified the suspect, Ahmad Najib Aris, through forensic evidence including DNA analysis. In 2005, he was convicted of rape and murder. After all appeals were dismissed, his death sentence was carried out in 2016. The case shocked the nation and led to stronger security measures in shopping malls across Malaysia, including improved CCTV coverage, better lighting, increased security patrols, and designated parking spaces for women. It remains a significant reminder of the importance of public safety and personal awareness.
Before examining the crime itself, it is important to understand who Canny was. Canny Lai Kian was born on the 18th of July 1974 in Ipoh, Perak, and was the youngest daughter of Ong B. Jeng and Pearly Viswanathan. She grew up in a close-knit family and was widely described by her loving ones as caring, considerate, and a devoted daughter. Friends and relatives remembered her as someone who was both intelligent and compassionate, always placing the needs of her family before her own. After completing her education in Malaysia, Canny moved to the United States to pursue higher education, thus earning a degree in economics in Hawaii. She later built a successful career as an information technology analyst in San Diego, California. While living in the United States, she met Brandon Ong, and the two married in 2001, beginning a new chapter of their lives together. Despite building a successful career overseas, Canny remained deeply connected to her family in Malaysia. In early 2003, she learned that her father had been diagnosed with cancer. Without hesitation, she and her husband traveled back to Malaysia on the 1st of June 2003 so she could spend time with and care for him during his treatment. Fortunately, her father's condition improved following surgery, and Canny prepared to return to the United States on the 14th of June 2003 to resume her life and work in San Diego. Unbeknownst to her and her loved ones, the night before her departure would become the final night of her life. What was meant to be the end of a family visit would instead mark the beginning of one of Malaysia's most notorious murder investigations.
On the evening of 13 June 2003, Canny attended a farewell dinner with her family at Bangsar Shopping Center. After dinner, she returned alone to the basement car park to retrieve her parking ticket, which she had accidentally left inside her car. While she was there, she was abducted by a man. As the suspect drove away, two plainclothes police officers became suspicious and stopped the vehicle. During the encounter, Canny attempted to signal for help. However, the suspect managed to flee before the officers could intervene, allowing the abduction to continue. The suspect later sexually assaulted and murdered Canny before attempting to destroy evidence by burning her body. Several days later, her remains were discovered in a secluded area near Jalan Klang Lama, Kuala Lumpur.
Investigations eventually led police to Ahmad Najib bin Aris, a 27-year-old aircraft cabin cleaning supervisor whose arrest came as a shock to the Malaysian public, because on the surface he appeared to be an ordinary family man with no previous criminal record. Born in Muar, Johor, Ahmad Najib was the second of 4 siblings. He left school after Form 3 to help support his family financially, and later moved to Kuala Lumpur in 1998 in search of better employment opportunities. By 2003, he was married with 2 young children and was living with his family in Pantai Dalam. Professionally, Ahmad Najib worked for an aviation services company as an aircraft cabin cleaning supervisor. During the investigation, police discovered that he had previously worked at Bangsar Shopping Center, giving him knowledge of the building's layout, including the basement, parking area where Canny was last seen. This familiarity with the location became an important aspect of the investigation. During court proceedings, psychiatric assessments found that Ahmad Najib was mentally fit and fully aware of his actions. he was not found to be suffering from mental illness that would impair his judgment or criminal responsibility.
The murder case was solved through a combination of forensic science, witness testimony, and police investigation. Among all the evidence collected, DNA evidence was the most crucial clue. DNA samples recovered during the investigation matched the suspect, which is Ahmad Najib Aris, providing strong scientific evidence that linked him directly to the crime. Another important clue was fingerprint evidence. Investigators found the suspect's fingerprints on the victim's car, confirming that he had been inside the vehicle during the incident. Witness testimony also played a significant role, where during the abduction, two plainclothes police officers became suspicious and stopped the vehicle. Although the suspect managed to escape before they could rescue the victim, the officers' observations helped investigators establish an accurate timeline of events and supported other evidence presented in court. In addition, forensic experts carefully examined the victim's car and the crime scene. Despite the suspect's attempt to destroy evidence by burning the victim's body, investigators were still able to recover valuable forensic evidence and reconstruct what had happened. Together, the DNA evidence, fingerprint analysis, witness testimony, and crime scene investigation form a strong body of evidence that led to Ahmad Najib Aris' conviction. This case demonstrated how forensic science can provide objective and reliable evidence even when a perpetrator attempts to conceal a crime.
When it came to DNA profiling, because Canny Ong's body had been severely burned, visual identification was impossible. Thus, forensic scientists extracted DNA from her bone marrow and compared it with blood samples provided by her parents. The genetic profiles matched, conclusively confirming that the remains did in fact belong to Canny Ong. DNA evidence also connected Ahmad Najib directly to the sexual assault. Led by chemist Dr. Primulapati Jaya, the forensic team recovered semen samples during the post-mortem examination that matched his DNA profile. In addition, investigators recovered a pair of jeans from Ahmad Najib's home that contained blood stains matching Canny's DNA. Her blood was also found inside her proton tiara, further strengthening the forensic link between the victim and the suspect. The post-mortem examination also helped investigators reconstruct what had happened. Pathologists determined that Canny died from strangulation and severe internal abdominal injuries. Importantly, they found no evidence of smoke inhalation in her airways or lungs. This meant she was already dead before her body was set on fire, proving that the burning of the body was a deliberate attempt to destroy evidence rather than the actual cause of death. Investigators also relied on digital forensic analysis. Although the CCTV footage from Bangsa Shopping Center was dark and of poor quality, forensic specialists enhanced the recordings using a video investigator system. The improved footage revealed the suspect's movements and distinctive clothing, including a baseball cap and sling bag that match items later seized from Ahmad Najib's residence. Finally, investigators reconstructed the timeline using evidence recovered from Canny's abandoned proton tiara. An unpaid parking ticket found inside the vehicle was matched with the shopping center's parking records, allowing police to establish the approximate time when the abduction occurred. Individually, each piece of evidence was significant. Together, they formed a compelling body of scientific proof that convinced the High Court that Ahmad Najib Aris had acted alone in the abduction, rape, and murder of Canny Ong.
The Canny Ong murder case was officially brought to a close after a thorough police investigation and judicial process. Through DNA analysis, fingerprint evidence, witness testimony, and crime scene reconstruction, investigators gathered sufficient evidence to identify and charge Ahmad Najib Aris with rape and murder. In February 2005, the High Court found Ahmad Najib Aris guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. He was sentenced to death for murder and received additional punishment for the rape of Canny Ong. The conviction was later upheld after a series of appeals through through the Malaysian courts. On 23 September 2016, after all legal appeals had been exhausted, the death sentence was carried out, bringing the criminal proceedings to an end. Although the legal case was closed, the impact of the tragedy continued to be felt across Malaysia. It prompted improvements in public safety, including enhanced CCTV surveillance, better lighting in parking areas, increased security patrols, and the introduction of designated parking spaces for women in many shopping malls. In conclusion, the Canny case remains one of Malaysia's most significant criminal investigations. It highlighted the vital role of forensic science in delivering justice and reinforced the importance of strong security measures to help protect the public and prevent similar crimes in the future.